Chapter.
Hi, Amrita.
Hi, all of you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Amrita.
Hey, how are you?
Is that a
Okay.
virtual conference room you're in?
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
thank you.
I'll change my brick wall. God.
Well, it's great to see
This
you
is-
again, Sharon.
This is all real.
Oh, is it?
Mhm. It's interactive.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Oh, I remember that. Yes, the sound barriers. That was for your speech that you gave last year, right? You had that, Todd?
No, I mean, I have it. This is my studio up here. So
Oh, okay.
that's my music room. That's a giant mess, but I'm working on it. It's getting better.
That's great.
Is that a voice award over your right-hand shoulder?
No, it's just a little sculpture that I got.
I didn't know you were on
I've
TV.
got
Todd.
another-
You're a singer. Wow.
I put that out at my shows a few times when I was performing, doing music, but
So we have a voice winner among us.
I did audition for The
Congratulations,
Voice
Todd.
once. What's that?
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank you. You can all be a voice winner if you go to Hobby Lobby. You can get one of those.
Okay, it's 12 noon. It's time to start. It's great seeing everyone here today. Thank you so much, Sharon, for returning. Nice to have you back as our guest. We look forward to having you join us as a member one day, a part of our Greenway Plaza Toastmasters family. We can't wait to hear your icebreaker speech one day. We're going to kick this off. Letitia Stewart is our Toastmaster of the day. And before we start that, Sharon, I just wanted to let you know, 2 of our officers are here. Amrita, she is our Vice President of Education and our Secretary. And I am the Sergeant at Arms, Vice President of Membership, Vice President of Public Relations, and immediate past president. And we look forward to having you join us as a member. I'm now turning this over to Letitia Stewart, our Toastmaster of the day, who is also, I believe, president of another club in the same area, right? Letitia,
That is correct.
Yes, it's back to you.
thank you very much, Elizabeth. And today happens to be one of my favorite days of the week because it's a Toastmaster Day. Want to welcome my fellow Toastmasters as well as our guest, Sharon. And Sharon, can you give us a few comments this morning?
Comments. Thank you everybody for letting me join, and I'm so happy to see everybody every week. And I hope I will be a member one day after everything is settled.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sharon.
You too.
Are you still in Austin with your family? Or are you back?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm still in Austin.
Okay, well, say hello to the Longhorns over there for us. Even though I'm an Aggie, but still say hello. So today our theme of the day is good role models. I'd like to tell you how I came up with the theme and also would like to recommend doing this. I actually got the theme from our Toastmaster magazine. I don't know if they're actually mailing those anymore, or is it all digital? Do you know, Elizabeth? All digital?
It's all digital now. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, darn it. I love turning pages. But anyway, either way, digital or not, number one, it's an excellent magazine, but it's, I feel, an excellent theme for the meeting because it normally, it's all good stuff, basically. It's all good stuff. So you can't go wrong, whether you're talking about speaking or good role models. That's where I got it from. And I do recommend not only reading it, but a perfect place to find a theme. As one of the things that made me think of it is because I read in the story about an individual by the name of Rick, and he credits Toastmasters for his advancement in his career, and specifically for the good role models that he had there. He was recommended by a career coach at his company. He worked for Georgia Power and Light, I believe, light company. And but the career coach had asked, recommended him to join Toastmasters to improve him to be able to influence others. And they felt that not only for him to be able to improve influencing others, that would help him not just with his job, but going into management. And it did improve his career. And he credits one lady in particular, and I'll highlight the mentor that he credits for his advancement in career. So good role models is the theme. And at this point, I would like to introduce my team. I have got Elizabeth as all counter. Elizabeth, can you tell us your responsibilities as all counter, please?
Absolutely. My role as all counter is to note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. The use of interjections such as and, well, but, so, like, you know, as well as sounds like or tongue clicks will be tallied. I will also note double clutches, which are words or phrases that are repeated. For example, I, this means, this means. These injections generally disrupt the flow of speech and make the speech less interesting. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And our grammarian for the day is yours truly. And as grammarian, I will give the word of the day. I'd like to encourage everyone to use it today as well as every day. And also will make note of special verbiage that I catch. So for the word of the day is remarkable. And today's meeting is going to be remarkable. The definition, number one, in this sense, it's an adjective, word of remark or notice, unusual, extraordinary. And the sentence that I got from the Toastmaster magazine that described the mentor, her name is actually Vicky, the sentence as her sincere desire to see members become better speakers and better people is remarkable. So that's an example of using remarkable in a sentence. Another individual on my team is our timer, Amarita. Please welcome Amarita. Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hello, Amarita.
Let's see if I have a
we
microphone that I can
hear you
demonstrate.
because you are mute.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Thank you
Sorry.
so much, Sharon. Okay, so my role as a timer is to track time for each segment and participant in the meeting. A green card will be signaled when the qualifying time has been reached. At the midpoint, a yellow card and then a red card with 30 seconds remaining. After 30 seconds, the participant is disqualified. For the icebreaker speech, it is a green light for 4 minutes, yellow light for 5 minutes, and red light for 6 minutes. That's the role of the timer. Back to you, Leticia.
Thank you, Amarita. And you helped us practice our lip reading today. Awesome. Thank you. And our our general evaluator for today is Fernando. Fernando, please welcome Fernando.
Thank you, Toastmaster Letitia. This is the evaluation portion of our meeting. I want to step back. Do I do this now, or do I mention this later on during the evaluation portion of the meeting?
On the agenda that I printed, it shows you as part of my team and general evaluator. I think
Okay.
it can vary. I guess this is the Toastmaster's choice.
Fair enough. This is the portion of the meeting where we get immediate feedback on our performance today. I'm a bit confused because the script I'm reading suggests that we're going to go through and I'm going to call on different
I think
evaluators.
there might be an earlier script for just kind of explaining what you will be doing. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
maybe if you want to. Just,
Yeah. Actually, I apologize. It's my error. My role as general evaluator is to conduct the evaluation portion of our meeting. Later, I'll call for reports from the speech evaluators, timer, awe counter, and grammarian. I'll also report on the quality of evaluations, make note of everything that happened or didn't happen, but should during the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Fernando. At this point, I would like to introduce our speaker for the day. Our speaker today is Todd Courson. And I know he's been a member as long as I've been one. So it's great to have you, Todd. Been with us a while. He is giving us an icebreaker speech. His path is dynamic leadership. It's 4 to 6 minutes. And the title of his speech is Every Decade Something Different. Please welcome Todd.
Thanks, everybody. So when I look back on my life and what I've been through, I kind of tend to notice that there are some periods where I did this thing for 10 years and then I went and did something else. So I kind of thought, let me give you an overview here and try to run through the decades real quick. So of course, the first decade is just my childhood. My earliest memory I have is being on the back of my mom's bike in a little child seat. And I remember kind of looking over to the side at the trees rushing by and how if I turned my head, everything just kind of blurred as it went by. And it was just kind of this magical primal moment. Childhood isn't always magical stuff. My parents got divorced when I was about 4 years old. Later on, my dad got remarried and I went and moved with him, and we went to a new place. And I went from, after third grade, just kind of being one of the kids that belonged there to being an outsider and getting picked on a little bit. And, life was a little tough, but good things happened too. For instance, my stepmother's family, we went to a Christmas party and somebody gave me a radio at the Christmas party. And then I had a little tabletop radio that I had. I remember being up cleaning my room one day and I was flipping around the dial and I got to hear my favorite song, My Life by Billy Joel, 3 times in the same day. I remember I was so excited about that. This is great. And also that part of my life in 4th grade, I got to learn how to play an instrument. I got to choose what instrument I wanted to play. So of course I chose the saxophone because, well, piano wasn't one of the options, but there's a lot of great sax solos on Billy Joel's music. So this was great, magical stuff, discovering how great music was. And also movies, when I was 8 or 9 years old, that's when Star Wars came out. And man, if that didn't transport me to this magical world, I don't know what did. So those music and movies have been loves of mine my whole life. Now, in my second decade, when I was 13 years old, my mom took us to a show it was a show in Pittsburgh, and it was like a juggling. These guys were going to be juggling. And I remember thinking, my brother and I were like, can't we just go to the movies? My mom was like, no, we are going to this show. And I'm thankful that she took us there, because after watching these guys in this clever, astounding, funny, remarkable performance, I remember our neighbor across the street, I'd seen him juggle and I thought, I could never do that. Well, after watching these guys for 2 hours and entertaining us and making us laugh, I started to figure out what was going on, how juggling worked. So the next day I went home and I started to teach myself how to juggle. I had these little tiny super balls that I was trying to do, but I was making progress, right away. And eventually I got this book called Juggling for the Complete Klutz, because it came with 3 bean bags, and that was a lot better thing to juggle. So I spent a lot of time practicing and learning how to, really focus on something and work at it and get better. And I ended up performing in some talent shows. When we moved again to Virginia, I met in my Spanish class in 10th grade another guy who juggled, and we started to juggle together. And then my sophomore year, he was a year ahead of me, we got in the talent show, and we got an honorable mention in the talent show. I started a juggling club at my high school. And then in my senior year, I was in the talent show again. Unfortunately, they didn't have one my best friend's last year of high school. They skipped it that year, but they had it my senior year, and I won the talent show with my juggling act. So that was a really great thing. I just took that time to learn how to do this thing, and it was worth it. And I could share it with people, and they liked it. That was a cool lesson. So I continued juggling into college. I was in a juggling club in college, and I did shows, performed at birthday parties. My friend and I did shows on New Year's Eve. We got hired to play, and we had one of the best spots for the First Night Virginia celebration in Charlottesville. We were in the Radisson Hotel atrium. It was, I can't think of a better place in the whole, all the performance spaces they had for New Year's Eve. We had a great spot. That was decade 2. Now that led into, in college, I saw one time that there was a college comedy competition. Now we do funny stuff when we were juggling, but I didn't do stand-up comedy. But I was a big fan of, we would listen to Steve Martin, George Carlin albums, at my mom's house on the weekends, that my brother and I would crack up over all this stuff. So I decided I should look at this. And Jerry Seinfeld was the judge for this competition. Now at the time, people didn't really know him very well. He didn't have a show yet, but I knew him as a stand-up. I thought, I got to go check this thing out. Now I found out about it a week ahead of time, and I did not have a stand-up act. So I thought, I'm just going to go and see what it's about. Had to talk myself in the door because I didn't know you had to pay to get in. I got there, I didn't have any money. I'm like, oh, please, let me just, they're like, oh, you can stand in the door and watch what's going on. And I saw some people that were pretty funny. And I saw some people that were not very funny, but they were up there on stage and they were doing it. So I thought, I'm going to try this. And I started writing in secret my own stand-up comedy act. And then that summer I stayed at school. I was living in a subleased apartment. And I saw that they had an open mic night. So I went and did that. They actually had a contest each time. The audience would vote for their favorite comic. And the first time that I did it, I didn't win. I didn't think I did okay. I survived. I went back the next week and they had the audience vote, and I actually won the contest. I got $20. I was like, this is cool. I'm getting paid to do this. So a couple weeks later, I went back. The next week I went back and they didn't have the contest. And the next week they did it and I won it again. And then they stopped doing it. So that cut off my revenue stream, but it was cool. I kept doing stand-up comedy all through college and beyond that. And I even got to travel. One time I went to Minnesota. A guy that came through our comedy club where we had our open mic in Pittsburgh, said, hey, do you want to open for me on the road? And so I went and did a show. I flew to Minnesota and the guy picked me up at the airport and I got to open up for him a couple of nights. And it was really neat. I think I got enough money basically to pay for my plane ticket and my food on the trip, but it was a really cool experience. It was great to get to do that. I'm looking at the time here and I don't think we're going to make it to through all my decades. I'm older than you might think, but I'm just going to keep talking until I'm almost out of time. And then maybe I'll just do another speech another time with more of these awesome details. Anyway, my 4th decade, that's when the family stuff started to happen. And I met my wife. She's from Colombia. So, hey, that Spanish that I learned in high school, when I met my friend, and we were juggling together, that turned out to be really worthwhile. We got married. And right before my son was born, I got the opportunity to work with my dad. We started our own business with another guy doing a steel galvanizing control system. And that was a wonderful thing. I did some traveling for that. I got to go to South Korea. We went to Sweden. I took my wife and son to Sweden. I think Diego was probably about 2 or 3 years old when we took that trip. And the great thing was, working with my dad, I got to be home while my son was growing up. So from when he was born till when he was about 5 years old, I mostly worked at home, which was wonderful to be there and experience him growing up. And then I moved to Texas, and after that business folded up, and my brother and his family live in Texas. So now we get to spend a lot of time with them. So that was decade 4, was all about family. I'm gonna have to stop there and tell you guys about decade 5 another time. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed hearing something about my life.
Thank you, Todd. And yes, we sure did enjoy listening about your life. It's inspiring, actually, how you were able to transform from, it sounded like, not sure whether you fit in, to your hobbies really, gave you a big boost and put a lot of, excitement into your life during that time. So that's great. Everybody, please give Todd some feedback. We've got a minute to send him a note.
Maybe I'll do icebreaker 2 next week.
I mean, how many other decades are there, Todd? Are there 2 more? I mean, what are we talking about here? I thought you were going to stop after 3.
Oh, so there's one more, and then there's kind of a, what's the next decade going to be about? I think the 2 big candidates are unicycling and public speaking. So.
Right.
Todd, have you thought about going on stage with your unicycle and speaking?
And juggling.
Yeah.
What an entrance that would make on a contest stage.
Yes.
It could be fun. I definitely need to work on the idling, where you're just kind of rocking back and forth versus, moving.
Well, even if you just
forward.
Even if you just enter the stage with the unicycle, that would be pretty cool.
Definitely a good way to make an entrance.
You really
great.
threw me for a loop. You had the teaser out there with the unicycle, and I was expecting to hear a lot more. And I was on the edge of my seat, and all of a sudden, I didn't hear it. So I'm hoping we'll definitely hear a part 2.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it was in the plan. I just couldn't get through it all.
That's great. And one thing I wanted to mention to you, Todd, is that one of our speakers that's on our website, I think it's the Toastmaster International, where you can listen to speakers, is a stand-up comedian. And she's really interesting. And she gives workshops. I'm sure she charges for them, but I actually went into a little, like a mini workshop, and I was really impressed. I mean, they had individuals that taught you how to write, was telling you how to write to do stand-up comedian. I didn't know it was going to be that detailed. I was really just wanting to listen to her speak, but it was for an individual who wants to do stand-up comedian. And that was through Toastmasters International. She's, I'll text you the name if I'll look it up real quick in case you're interested. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's I think it's a great experience to have.
Yeah.
It is, because it makes every other form of getting up in front of people, it's all easier than that. You put yourself out there so much that, anything like now I get up and, play a guitar and sing a song. That's easy. It's a cakewalk.
It was really wild listening to them, because like I said, she had mentors in her workshop, and how they came up, with their style. And it was real interesting on stand-up. It was about stand-up comedians. It was really neat.
I'm glad I did it. I'm scared to do it again. But
She may inspire you. But back to our theme, one of the things that was asked is how the Toastmaster is what made her a good role model. And it points out that Vicky, it's her name, is a lifelong learner and giver. She's always humble. She constantly strives for self-improvement and exhibits a can-do attitude. And so she sets the bar high in her speeches, but would not claim to be perfect. So that's just a little tidbit about one of the Toastmasters that was highlighted as a good role model. At this time, I'll introduce our table topic speaker, and that is Miss Amrita. Amrita, we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. My role as a table topic master is to challenge members to develop their impromptu communication skills by answering unrehearsed questions. Table topics are specifically designed to develop 4 essential communication skills: listening, thinking, organizing, and speaking. For now, let's begin the fun. Okay, so who is going to volunteer the first one? Any volunteers? Fernando? Okay,
Take one for the
so
team.
very simple thing. If you are asked to sell an oil to a bald person, how would you sell it to him? I repeat, if you are asked to sell an oil to a bald person, how would you sell that to him?
Actually, that's can everyone hear me?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
okay, great. It's a very great question. One, it's obviously challenging, but I would sell oil to a bald person by showing the dynamic properties that the oil has for his skin, and how using the oil would improve the look of his skin, his bald head, his face. There are probably a lot of good properties in that oil. I'd have to imagine there's natural berries, moisturizers that are in that oil, and I would certainly suggest that. Also, I think it'd probably be great to brush your teeth with. It's something that absolutely we should use more of, maybe even possibly eat. And this oil probably has a lot of applications that quite frankly we all need and we can use. And it goes a lot further than that. It could be used in starting your own grease fire, if you need that to happen, or what else is there? Lug nuts, placing lug nuts back on your car to fix your tires on your car. The applications are absolutely endless. So those are a few of the ideas that I'd have in terms of trying to sell the oil to a bald person.
Absolutely fantastic. You really told us whatever you could tell that person to sell that oil.
You're quite welcome.
Included all the things. Okay, so the next volunteer, Sharon, would you like to answer?
Okay.
Okay. Which weather do you prefer, summers or winters, and why?
Um, I absolutely love summer because my favorite outdoor activity is swimming, and swimming being the activity that uh, swimming is my favorite exercise activity because like it doesn't hurt my leg, and it is like I don't feel I'm sweating. Actually, I am sweat. I probably is sweating when I was swimming, but I just don't feel very sticky. And I also and I enjoy swimming with two puppies like at my place, and I definitely say summer is the favorite season I like the most. Even though other season may be good, but summer is so I can always I can do my favorite activity first of all, and second is I'm always afraid of cold. So imagine actually I am having a hot tea with me right now. Even outside is about what temperature? Let me see. Outside is about 22 Celsius, Celsius, which is actually a very nice weather to live without a hot tea, but I always drink hot tea. I always in the cold, and I love summer because I don't have to feel that coldness. uh, I think that's I think
Awesome.
that's
Very good.
sorry.
That's really fantastic, Sharon. I too love summer. Winter, you have to carry on so much of jackets and so many
Yeah.
things.
Yes. I cannot handle winter
Yeah,
as much as I can handle summer. In
true.
Texas, people are afraid of summer, but I actually loves it.
Right, right. Absolutely. Okay. So who will go next? Elizabeth?
Okay.
This
Actually,
one is,
Letitia volunteer.
oh, I was unable to see. Okay, Letitia, your question is, if you could build a garden with only 3 plants, what they would be and why?
Thank you, Amrita, our table topic master. If I could build a garden with only 3 plants, I would say that I would pick daisies, daisies, and daisies. All types of daisies. I absolutely love daisies. As a matter of fact, I take daisies just about everywhere I go. My daughter and I have always collected vases, but because I've always loved daisies, we stick with single opening vases. Think wine bottle. Okay, so it's just a small opening, just enough to put 1, maybe 2 or 3 daisies in it. And the vases have been a very fun thing to collect. And daisies, number one, you may not know this, but they last forever. I mean, literally, you have to look under the plant to see if it's dead because it still looks alive, even though it can be dead. And so I've always taken them to my customers, and on them, whether it's their birthdays, when I'm going to meet somebody to eat, I usually have a vase. Or a lot of times it's just a wine bottle, but it'll have a daisy in it. And so I love daisies. And another thing, like I said, they last for a long time. They don't smell, unfortunately, but as far as having a garden, daisies come in different heights. There's different type of daisies. So you could still have different heights in a garden, and then the colors are just numerous. I mean, you can any color daisy, any color you can think of, there's a daisy in it. And I think at HEB, they actually dye them because they come in a color like this. My shirt, they come in fluorescent colors also. So in summary, I would have daisy, daisy, daisies in my garden. Thank you.
Awesome. Daisies, daisies, and daisies. So do you have daisies in your garden?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
They're in my front entrance, and yes, they are rather frozen right now, but I am certain that they're going to grow back because they're very hardy.
Awesome. Do we have time for one more table topic? No?
Is the timer or the Toastmaster? I forget is the one. We have time for one more.
One more?
The Toastmaster introduces the general evaluator at 12:36. It's 12:35 right now. You can if you want. It's up to you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and go into the next portion. Thank you for reminding me about that. That is correct. So Madam Timer, were all our speakers for table topics on time? Okay, excellent. So we had first speaker is Fernando, and he told us all the benefits of oil for a bald person. And it actually shows here, Sharon talked about her summers, and then I talked about my daisies. And thank you for putting the tally up there for us. That was wonderful. Thanks. At this point, if everybody can vote for the best table topic master, and I will go ahead and introduce our general evaluator, Mr. Fernando Ruiz.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stewart. This is the evaluation portion of our meeting. This is the portion of the meeting where we get immediate feedback on our performance today. Madam Timer, may I have the timing rules for evaluations? Thank you.
Yes, for evaluation, the green light will be shown at 2 minutes, yellow light for 2.30 minutes, and red light at 3 minutes. Back to you, Fernando.
Okay, now we will hear our speech evaluator give her evaluation of today's prepared speech. Then I'll give my general evaluation of the overall meeting. Our first evaluator is Toastmaster Elizabeth, evaluating Todd Courson's speech. Please help me welcome Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Todd, I liked the lighting and the perfect height with your camera. I could hear, I could see you. It was phenomenal preparation. Most importantly, your hand gestures throughout the entire speech. For example, when you would say the number 3, you always did 3. When you said, no, we are going to the show, when you mimicked your mom, you pointed with your finger. And I just felt like that was your mom talking. When you would talk about the tiny little super balls, you would show us how small, and then the size of the bean bags. And then also working on it, getting it better and better and better. And then when you said, I skipped the talent show that year by placing your hand in midair. You may want to work on, when you think, practice looking straight at the audience instead of looking up to your right at the ceiling. It's okay to do a silent pause and to think. And even when you say, well, let me think, or I'm thinking, or I'm trying to remember. And when you're saying that, look at us to let us know. So we're there in your mind, thinking with you. When you look up at the ceiling and say, oh, let me think, you break that intense connection with the audience. I love the organization of your speech. The storyline was authentic, vulnerable, by starting out with the divorce and school to college, starting with your mom to your brother to your friends, and then again with the story of attending movies and shows and competing in talent shows. And again with the hand gesture, showing the hands up in midair, the secret writing of your own jokes, and then being paid and winning. It made me keep cheering for you, hearing your travel stories by sharing names of persons where you flew. For example, Mike in Minnesota, it kept me immersed. Your call to action, I love the humor. I loved when you said learning Spanish in school helped me with my wife from Colombia. Loved all the travel stories, the opening of a window into your family by sharing your son's name, Diego, and the timeline of where you traveled and lived throughout your decades of your life. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your adventures. Back to you, Mr. Grammarian, General Evaluator Fernando. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're on mute, Fernando.
Sorry about that. Okay. Madam Timer, may I have a timer's report for the evaluator? Thank you.
The evaluator qualified. It was 2 minutes, 40 seconds.
Thank you. The I counter tracks the use of verbal pauses, those uhs and ums that come out of our mouths while we think of the next thing to say. These verbal pauses detract from our message. Please help me welcome our ah counter. And that is Toastmaster Ruiz.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. The presiding officers, myself, and I really forgot to count what I said or what I said. Our Toastmasters, Letitia, her favorite use of filler is and. Also in grammarian, when she was saying her grammarian, it was and With Fernando, the General Evaluator, Amrita, Table Topics Master, her favorite filler words are so and Fernando, during his table topic speech, his favorite filler words were but, so, and Sharon, your favorite filler words today during your table topics is and, so, and Letitia, during your table topics, your favorite filler words were and, but, and so. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elizabeth. With that, next we'll hear from the grammarian who's been listening for good uses of language, points for improvement, and tracking our word of the day. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Stewart.
Thank you, Fernando. As for the individuals that used the word of the day, I have Todd and myself, Todd and I. Todd, I liked how you described your writing as secret writing. That was a nice way to put it. It was very descriptive. Fernando, I'm not sure how you got this into your topic, but I liked how you used lug nuts with your oil. I don't know, it just seemed technical and I probably would have never gone there with lug nuts. But so that was really kind of, I don't know, it was fun. I like that. And I did notice, and I liked the way Fernando, Sharon, and Amrita used the word absolutely. They just emphasized it well and did a good use in using those words. Elizabeth, I liked your description of authentic and vulnerable. 2 words that I wrote down that I would like to use, and that I thought you made good use of it during the evaluation. Back to you, General Evaluator Fernando.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stewart. With that, I'll have my own observations as how the meeting went. And generally speaking, the meeting ran smoothly. We followed the agenda and the times. Our speaker was prepared, and the timing limits for the most part were observed by the timer, ah counter, and grammarian. And I generally believe that everyone in the meeting today enjoyed the time that we had. And with that, I'll turn it back to the Toastmaster.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Great job as General Evaluator, Fernando. It's great to see you. I'd like to just end my portion of the meeting as Toastmaster of the day with a couple of things highlighting what made Vicky, she's actually a DTM, a excellent role model. one of the things that she's known for is that she determines the level of feedback members can absorb. I thought that was very interesting. When evaluating, she determines the level of feedback members can absorb and is kind in her choice of words. Be it formal evaluations or one-on-one advice, she is non-judgmental. And the last thing is, when asked what was the best advice that she had ever been giving to her, she said it was to be accepting of others, not just in the club, but in life. So accepting of others, not just in the club, but in life. So that was a role model that I chose to highlight today. And at this point, I will hand it back to our Elizabeth, I believe, is going to be the one giving the awards today. Is that correct?
Okay, I will. You ready?
Okay.
Drum roll. Well, there was only one evaluator and there was one speaker. So that goes to myself and Todd. Congratulations.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now the best table topics. Are you ready? Yay! Fernando, you won best table topic. I'm so excited. Congratulations, Fernando. Great job. Great job. Those lug nuts really helped. Fantastic. Okay, before I go into the business portion, I wanted to ask Amrita, as Secretary and VPE, if you have any updates.
No, right now I don't have any updates, but I have many things to talk about.
And we will after we stop recording.
Yes, right.
Yes. Okay. As Sergeant at Arms, I would just like to share that I do keep this room open 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after our meeting. Why do we do that? So we can fill any last minute roles if someone has to cancel at the last minute, or if we want to talk after the meeting has stopped, we can catch up and socialize and maybe even discuss some officer meetings or anything that we want to talk about or need to. As your Vice President of Membership, we do have another officer induction, Irina, and each time I've emailed her for the officer induction, she apologizes that she cannot make it, but she did promise starting next week, she will be here every week. Therefore, we will have our new member induction, not officer, our new member induction with Irina next Thursday. The VP PR role, I would like to ask everyone to please go to our social media web pages. And if you don't know where they are, it's super easy to find. You just go straight to our website and you click on those social media icons and you follow or like them. And then what do you do after you follow and like them? You can write something, you can tag us, you can share our posts, flood the social media. That's a lot of fun to do too. For the business portion, as your immediate past president, I would like to share that we have announced our District 56 Spring Conference. It is a 4-day conference starting Thursday through Sunday, April 29th through May 2nd. And our humorous and international speech contest is that Saturday afternoon and evening. It is all 100% virtual. It is free. You can come and go as you'd like. You just sign up and register. The registration will be placed on our website, Toastmastershouston.com. And once that is open, then you can register and you can download the app of our platform for the conference app, and then just come and go as you'd like. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of networking sessions. There's trivia. There's games, there's education classes, There's a business meeting that VPEs and presidents attend. There will be a showcase of candidates for next year's leadership team. There will be dignitaries coming in to do a thought leadership, a leadership panel. Lots of things to do, to meet and have fun. It's going to be action-packed. Also, we have speech contests happening right now. If you would like to see what those are all about, you can go again to our District 56 website, which is toastmastershouston.com. Hover over events and then click on calendar. And it lists all of the different division and area contests. Some of them you need to register for in advance, and some you just click on the Zoom link and you enter the room, in the weight room. With that said, our area contest is coming up for P, and that is March 13th, if you would like to attend that. For our area Q, Amrita, would you like to share about that? Do you know the dates and times? You're on mute.
It is 20th of March.
Amrita is competing.
Oh,
Okay, tell us what time so we can all be there with bells on, cheering for you.
I got the mail from Allison, but she has not mentioned all the details in that.
Okay, well, you know, I think we can probably go to toastmastershouston.org and click on event, or hover over events and then click on calendar. And you said March 30th?
20.
20th? Then click on March 20th, and I'm sure the Zoom link is there on toastmastershouston.com. We will make sure that we are there cheering you on. That's exciting.
yes.
Very exciting. Okay, Sharon, how did you like our meeting today?
I love the meeting. I always love the meeting, and I like the interaction everybody has during the meeting, and I feel like going through this Toastmaster meeting, I actually knows about myself more, because actually I come up with a summary, like kind of like conclude something. Like after several performance, I realized I couldn't answer the impromptu speech when it is the topic that is related to myself, like my favorite villain, like my favorite book, my favorite season. Actually, I have the answer, but I just didn't really think that much. So I found out I have hard time come up with things. So actually, I get to know myself. I've come to a point that I'm thinking to getting to know myself more, like after joining the meeting, which is nice. Yeah, I really like it. I think Toastmaster meeting is such a great opportunity, like not just like improving, like not just socializing, improving the speech, and also get to know ourselves more. And yeah, I really enjoy it.
What a beautiful way to word that. I agree with you. That's wonderful. Well, we're happy you're here as our guest. And again, we look forward to having you join us as a Toastmaster. Just
Yeah,
let us know when you're ready.
Yeah,
No pressure.
Actually, during interview, when there's a problem, I introduce yourself, and I always have a hard time answering that question. I just can simplify everything, and everything done in like it is I just need to know myself more, and I know I realized this during this meeting, and I'm grateful for this.
Well, we're happy to have you. That means you'll be back, and we will definitely call on you for more table topics to help you practice.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. Fernando, Letitia, or Todd, would you like to share anything?
I'm fine today. Thank you. It's great to see everyone.
Same here. Hopefully everyone got through the freeze okay. I assume you all have, since we're on. Praying for those that are still struggling.
Yes.
I guess just thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh,
I feel like I did a lot of talking, but I had more to do. So I guess that's good.
I
I
would,
love
I
it.
would
I
like
loved
to
it.
share something.
I loved it. It was good. It's really good.
Like a full life, Todd.
I'll just pretend I'm 10 years younger than I am.
You look young.
He does. And Rita, I guess you can schedule that second speech for Todd now. He knows what he's talking about for the next one, his 5th decade of life.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, there's still broke ice.
That's great. I actually want, do you mind repeating the book, the juggling book that you said had the bean bags? I really like that.
Oh, yeah,
If
it's
I'm
called.
reading a book or listening to the speaker, I don't know. I always get into character and I just get excited and I just really get into it.
Is the company still around?
The one that has the book, or I
They
probably,
are, yeah. That was their first. It's called Juggling for Complete Klutz, and it was a little book that came with it. There's a little hole in the middle and a little net bag with bean bags inside of it, and so that company was called Klutz Press, and they had all these other books. I think I
Oh
have
my
here.
God.
Check this out.
no, they do have them. They still have them. I mean, my favorite place to get books is Thrift Books, and they have old books,
Okay.
half price books,
Okay.
has old books.
So their thing was always the book would come with something with it, and it was, most of the books teach you something, and here's a couple that I still have around.
Wow.
So my first harmonica was, there was a little bag here with that, and there was a cassette and a harmonica that came with that one.
I
And
Is
love
that
it.
then
a collector's item?
here's the
Oh, my God.
actually, sorry, this is the guitar one.
Oh my
So
God.
that came with a cassette and probably a guitar pick or something like that. And then this is the country and blues harmonica for the musically hopeless.
I love it. Actually, Barnes and Nobles has a lot of books like that actually have a little beginner, whether it's a bean bag or a cassette, and it's good. As a matter of fact, yeah, go right ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm curious. Is there like an age range for those books? Like, like some books will say like, 5 to 11 or do they not list it?
I don't know. I would imagine though that the juggling one probably said something about, like a very wide age range. These don't say.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'll stick with the ones that say 5 to 10. 5 to 10.
It's good to be a beginner.
That's right. That's right.
Can we take a quick picture, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, you ready? On 3. 1, 2. Okay, let's see what we got here. Excellent. Good. Okay.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you next Thursday.
Sounds great.
Thanks. See you next
Bye.
week.
Bye.
Do you want to stay on, Amrita?
Mhm.
Okay.